सुंदर सेज स्वरूप की अति प्यारी भरी नूर, तिनकी सिफत न जुबा क्यों कर कहूँ जहूर, तिनकी सिफत न जुबा क्यों कर कहूँ जहूर। सुंदर सेज स्वरूप की, बोलिए श्री धाम की धनी की जय। Dear Sundar Sadji, let me welcome you on the yet another session of our Beetak Discourse. Today's discourse, we basically summarize the Beetak itself. The Ashtaprahar Seva that we'll discuss from today onwards is a part of Beetak, yet it is not discussed in greater details in Beetak discourses. Yet, on the recommendation of our very own Anilji and the guidance of Pracharya Shree, I'm making an effort to sing the glory of Seva, the glory of service to Sri Raji, the glory of service to Sundar Sadji, and the glory of service to humanity and all that is there in this world. Mahamati Prananath, as you all know, is in Panna, Madhya Pradesh, residing in Sri Padmavati Puridham that is known as the Mukti Peeth. It is one of the holiest pilgrimage sites for the adherents of Pranami faith. And he is singing the glory of Raji Maharaj, allowing his disciples to drink the nectar of transcendent understanding and Dharma, and divine revelations are continuously coming out of him for all of humanity. It was not just for Sundar Sats. He is propagating the message of harmony and peace. He is teaching us valuable lessons to live a blissful life. He is giving us the moral guidances. He is articulating how Raji is served. So all the things that one needs to have in order to live this life blissfully are unraveled by Mahamati Prananath. All the Sundar Sadji, more than 5,000 in numbers from all walks of life, have renounced their families, renounced their material comforts in their efforts to self-realization. They have followed Mahamati Prananath to Panna and this holy land. Mahamati Prananath has traveled more than 19,000 kilometers, equivalent to about 12,000 miles, mostly on foot, and part of it in waterways, in ships and boats. And he has arrived in Panna, a holy land that he has fallen in love with, the place where he settles in and does the Jagani Leela for more than 11 years. With his blessings, the village of Panna turns out to be a wealthy town in Bundelkhand because Mahamati Prananath blesses Satrasal Maharaj with the finding of diamonds all around Panna. And even today, like I've already said, if you go to Panna, you will find people digging the land for diamond. And even today, Panna is regarded as one of the hearts of diamond finding in India, in all of India. These 5,000 Sundar Sadji that have left their family and material comforts of the world are all living at the vicinity of Padmavati Puridham in small cottages. And they always come and listen to Mahamati Prananath's discourse. They serve Sundar Sadji, they serve Prananath as the Lord Supreme. Mahamati Prananath arrives in Panna in the year 1740 and stays there until he passes away in 1751. So he lives in Panna for 11 years. Just like Lord Sri Krishna resides in Brajamandal for 11 years and 52 days and allows the residents of Braja to experience the divine leelas, the divine pastimes of his, and the otherworldly bliss. The stay of Mahamati Prananath in Panna allows identical experiences to Sundar Sats. Those Sundar Sats that follow him to Panna, more than 5,000 in number. Mahamati Prananaji unravels the Ashtaprahar Seva of Sri Raji by Sundar Sats in Paramdham. And in the Holy Land of Panna, in Padmavati Puri Dham, the Sundar Sats serve Prananaji as the Lord Supreme himself. Ashtaprahar Seva is nothing but the service that is broken down into 8 3-hour sections or increments. The first prahar, starts at 6 a.m. and all these 8 sections are divided into 3 hours increments. So 6 to 9 a.m. is the first prahar. The second one is 9 to 12, from 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, thus there are 8 prahars. In Pranami tradition, in the faith that we follow, the value and sanctity of service or seva is glorified. Mahamati Prananaji says, it is through the service, it is through the devotional service of Sri Raji Maharaj, it is the service of one Sundar Sat to the other, that one receives the mercy and grace of Sri Raji Maharaj in this life. In Vedic tradition, in the Eastern Vedic tradition, there are different paths to God realization. There is a path of rituals. By practicing rituals recommended in the Vedas, one finds God. That is one path to God realization. However, the path of ritualistic prayers is prolonged and extended because it does not involve the understanding of God and His Leelas. It only allows soul to attain the comforts of heaven. But the comforts of heaven, as we all know, is not eternal. As Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Titam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam chile punyam argalokam vishanti. As soon as the merits of your good karma end, then you have to come back to this world again and reincarnate. So rituals and ritualistic prayers do not grant a soul the eternal salvation, yet it is recommended, it is prescribed as one of the ways of God realization in Vedic tradition. The other one is upasana or worship. Upasana is nothing but sitting near or attentive. It is the prayer of 330 million deities, 33 koti devi devta, or some say it is 33 types of deities. Regardless of what it is, it again allows souls to attain the comforts of heaven, but does not grant the eternal salvation. Then there is another recommendation for God realization that is called yoga. Yoga is nothing but a way soul connects with the Lord. Oftentimes, yoga is misunderstood as some bodily postures and exercises, but yoga goes much higher than that. In successive stages, there are 8 limbs of yoga. The first one being yama. Yama is ethical standard and sense of integrity. It is the first step of yogic practice and eventual goal of samadhi, the state of ecstasy. So it has a lot to do with non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, continence, and non-covetousness. So these are different parts of yama. So until one practices yama, they cannot get to other stages, successive stages of yoga. The second one being nigama. It is self-discipline and spiritual observance. It has a lot to do with bodily cleanliness, the cleanliness of mind, contentment, spiritual austerities, self-studies, and submission to God. Yama, niyama. The third one has a lot to do with postures. The third limb of yoga is known as asana. It's different yogic poses. It is for spiritual growth and habit of discipline. Once you go further than that, you get to pranayama. It is breath control. What it does is allows the practitioner to receive the mastery over the respiratory process. It rejuvenates the body and extends one's life. The next one is pratyahar. It is the withdrawal from senses and sensory transcendence. So what it allows is the practitioner to draw our attention from external world and direct it inwardly. Then the follower or practitioner gets to the stage of dharana, that is concentration. And like I already said, each stage prepares for the next. So dharana, concentration, is for the relief of the practitioner from outside distraction to become self-observant and focus on single point. The second last one, dhyana or meditation. It is an uninterrupted flow of concentration on something. And finally, the stage of samadhi, the state of ecstasy, where the yogic practitioner merges with his or her point of focus and transcends the self altogether, dissolves with the point of focus, the Lord Supreme or the God. So these are the yogic practices. So the Vedic teachings, the Vedic revelations prescribes yoga as one of the ways of God realization. If we reflect on the process of yoga for a moment, it also requires a lot of effort for one to go through. This successive stages and experience the eventual final stage of ecstasy. So not everyone can practice yoga to its full potential. Many people in today's world consider yoga only being the bodily postures, bending your body, lifting your hands, twisting your waist, and things of that nature. But yoga has a lot to offer. It has a lot to offer to the practitioner. It connects a soul to the Lord, and many people in the yogic world today do not get to a point of samadhi. So that is another path of God realization. And beyond that, the Vedic scholars prescribe the path of knowledge being one of the ways that souls can attain God. It is the path of understanding the scriptures, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, and all those scriptures, so that the practitioner, the devotee, can submit to the lotus feet of Lord. And again, it is not an easy path either, because understanding the deepest secrets of Vedas, Upanishads, and these scriptures is a tall task. It is not an easy cake. It's not an easy walk for everyone to tread on. So these are some of the paths that are revealed in the Vedic scriptures. So having all these paths, the easiest path to God realization was first explained by Lord Sri Krishna himself. It is the path of Ananya Bhakti. It is the path of exclusive, undivided devotion to Lord Sri Krishna. As such, Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse number 66, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Abandon all the varieties of dharma and simply surrender to me alone, says Sri Krishna. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions, and you do not have to worry about anything else. So Sri Krishna prescribes the value of Ananya Bhakti, a devotion, exclusive devotion to Him. Total identification with the Beloved, the Lord, the exclusive devotion, the undivided devotion. Sri Krishna further says, for the yogis who always think of me with exclusive devotion, I am easily attainable because of their constant absorption in me. Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasa tasyam sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. Dear Sandarsaji, and once through this exclusive devotion, undivided devotion to Lord Sri Krishna, once the soul finds Sri Krishna, then that soul never is subject to the rebirth in this world. Such soul does not reincarnate in this world again. Mamu petya punar janma dukha laya maswaswatvam napnu vanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gatam. Having attained me, the great souls are no longer subject to rebirth in this world, says Sri Krishna, which is transient and full of misery, because they have attained the perfect. They have attained the highest perfection. Dear Sundarsaji, this is one of the other paths of God realization. Sri Krishna further says, there are those who always think of me and engage in exclusive devotion to me. To them, whose minds are always absorbed in me, I provide them what they lack and preserve what they already possess. Dear Sundarsaji, such path of God realization, the path of Ananya Bhakti, exclusive devotion, is glorified in other scriptures as well. By giving water to the root of a tree, one satisfies the branches, twigs, and leaves, and by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfies all the senses of the body. Similarly, by engaging the transcendent service of Supreme Lord, one automatically satisfies all the demigods and all the other living entities. Yatha tarod mula nishechane na tripyanti taskanda bhujopa shaka pranopahara chetin niyanam tathaiva sarvananam achyutecha. Dear Sundarsaji, that is the path Sri Krishna and other Vedic scriptures prescribed for one to attain God, one to realize God. That is why a true disciple, a true awakened soul, according to Padma Purana, should not expect salvation from any other deities than the one he or she exclusively worships. The devotee's prayer should be exclusive, undivided to the Lord Supreme, says Padma Purana. He or she should not worship, sing the glory of, meditate upon, and receive the sanctified offering or prasad offered to other deities. Ananya sarano nityam tathaivanasya manasa ananya sadhanatmatvat syadanya prayojanaha nanyam pujayata devam nanamecha smaranyasa nacha pasyanna gayasana tanindeta kadachanaha. Dear Sundarsaji, these are some of the prescriptions of God realization in Vedic scriptures. Now, when we come to Mahamati Prananaji, what Mahamati Prananaji says, he further simplifies it. What he says, just by singing the glory of God, by serving the consorts of Raji and Sundarsans, and serving humanity in general, is a way of attaining Raji. It is the service, it is the seva with which one attains God. While we all know that service can assume many forms and facets, for example, we can go and feed a hungry. We can give some clothes and other things to a needy. But the greatest service that we can do to humanity is to remind them of their true nature, their true selves. The propagation of transcendent knowledge that we have, that we are entitled to, that we are given as the consorts of Lord Supreme, such that the world realize the transience of it, the fighting, the insignificance of their attachment to the world, and detach them from the world and its suffering. That could be the greatest service to humanity. And that is the way one transcends the suffering and forgetfulness of this world. Such that Mahamati Prananath reminds Sundar Saji to offer their service with genuine feelings, true feelings, towards the entity that they are serving. Serving Raji for the sake of service. Singing his glory as if the Raji is right in front of us. Offering Arati, submitting wholeheartedly to the lotus feet of Sri Raji. Assuming that Raji is nowhere but in front of us. Offering Prasad, offering the sanctified food to Raji Maharaj is if he is savoring it right in front of us. Serving Sundar Saji is if they are the consorts of Sri Raji Maharaj. Serving humanity with a feeling that that is what you are here in this world for. So Mahamati Prananath reminds Sundar Saji again and again of selfless service to humanity, selfless service to Sundar Sats, and selfless service to Sri Raji Maharaj. That is called Niskam Seva. When we serve someone with some expectations, with the expectation of reciprocity, that is what happens in today's world. We only give someone something when they can give similar thing in return to us. We only offer our donations when we are given the proper respect. When they sing our glory, when they glorify our names, that is when we offer our service. Mahamati Prananath reminds Sundar Saji again and again, repeatedly, that one's service should be genuine and selfless. And while doing the service of Sri Raji Maharaj, Mahamati Prananath says they should visualize the presence of Sri Raji Maharaj while they are offering their prayers. They should feel his presence in their lives. And when that happens, when they offer their services with such an innocence, such feeling of integrity, then they find many ways they can offer their services to Raji, to Sundar Sats. Mahamati Prananath says, Mukhati seva tune si kahu jotu antar aado tal aneka bidha seva tani tune upajase tatha. A true Sundar Sat, a true soul should not be reminded of the value and glory of service. When one removes the veil of ignorance and ego, one finds multiple ways, multitude of ways that he can serve in an instant. Singing the glory of service, Mahamati further says, there is nothing more gratifying and precious than service. When it is done by recognizing the glory, recognizing the divinity of the other soul that one's serving, then it becomes even more satisfying. Aur kachuna ina seva saman, says Mahamati Prananath. There is nothing comparable to the glory of service. Jo dilas anukula kare pehchan. Mahamati Prananath reiterates that it is only through the service and unconditional love to Sri Raji Maharaj that one realizes his glory. One finds him, one receives his grace and mercy. And Mahamati Prananath confidently says that Raji Maharaj ensures that it is through the service and unconditional love that one attains God. As such, Mahamati Prananath says, "Tuma prema sevaएं पाओगे पार, ये बचन धनी के कहे निरधार." It is through service. Now, speaking practically, what we do and how we feel in our daily lives, everyday lives. Those of you who are parents, would it not make it happy? Would it not make you happy as a parent if someone helps your children, helps your child succeed in their academics and career? Would you not be grateful to someone and offer him or her anything that you can if the life of your child was saved by that individual? Would you not? Such is the case with Raji Maharaj. We are all the consorts of Sri Raji Maharaj. Would Raji not shower his grace upon that soul who serves the other Sundar Sat, Raji's consort? Because Raji wants nothing but the happiness of each and every one of his consorts that have come to this world. That is why the glory of service is sung all across the revelations in Tartam, all across Bani. Raji would want the same. Sundar Sat serving each other with mutual respect and care, because there is nothing that makes him happier. Raji does not expect or does not want Sundar Sats to glorify his name again and again and again and again. What he wants is that Sundar Sats live at peace with each other. Sundar Sats taking care of one another. Sundar Sats awakening one another. Because Mahamati Prananath says, "Jyo jyo saath mein hota hai preet, tyon tyon mohi ko hota hai shuk." So long as Sundar Sats are serving each other, helping each other, they are living it in the state of harmony with one another. That is what makes me happy, says the Lord Supreme. Now, while we understand that, how should Sundar Sats serve Raji and other Sundar Sats? Mahamati says, there might be some prescriptions, but one should serve Raji and Sundar Sat with their truest feelings. When they offer their prayers and service to Sri Raji Maharaj by visualizing the presence of Raji, considering each soul, each Sundar Sat is the eternal consort of Sri Raji Maharaj, the eternal friend of Paramdham. With Sakshat Bhav, Sakshatani Seva Kijiye, as if Raji is in sight, in presence, as if Raji has manifested himself in front of you. With such feeling, one should offer their services to Raji Maharaj and Sundar Sat. And when that happens, what happens? Sundar Satji, Mahamati says, "Pakha pakchis bhai pakha pachavish che ati bhala, pana ye che apano dharma, sakshatani seva kijiye jo rude rakhe jo mara." That is what Prananath prescribes. However, it is sad and disappointing, Sundar Satji, that a lot of times our services are not as selfless. We have ulterior motives behind our services. We expect something in return. We serve our Lord. We serve our Sundar Sats. We serve our friends. We serve our religious institutions for personal gain, name, fame, prestige, and respect. For such Sundar Sats, Mahamati Prananath has few words. He says, "Jina sudha seva ki nahi na kuch samjhe baat, so kahu ko ginave shat mein na sudha supana sakhyat." Those who are unaware of the true value of selfless service and those who do not understand the words of Mahamati Prananath, the words of Satguru, the words of awakened souls, why should they count themselves, why should they consider themselves being a Sundarsha? Because they are incognizant of this world and they are unaware of the glory of Paramaham. They should not call themselves Sundarshas who do not serve other Sundarshas with selfless care, selfless service. Dear Sundarshaji, it is sad but true that very few understand the true value of selfless service. I myself have seen some of the weirdest episodes and stories of how lowly people would go down in an attempt to show their services to others, to show how selfless they are, how charitable they are, how much they care for the society, how low they can go. I was in one of the Pranami temples in Nepal, and there was a ceiling fan hanging from top. And it had 3 blades in it, right? 3 blades in it that would just circle around when it would be turned on. And Sundarsats, 3 Sundarsats had their name imprinted in those 3 blades, as they had donated 1 ceiling fan. I have seen Sundarsats not going to temple because they are not given the proper respect, because they had given some donations to the temple and their name is not called upon every time they attend the devotional service of Sri Raji Maharaj in that temple. There are Sundarsats that I have met who openly suggest that they would withdraw their promise of donation because they are not given the due respect. Since Sundarsatji do not care about me, they do not care what I do, they do not care about my position and power, I would not give the donation that I pledged in the past. Dear Sundarsatji, I have met such Sundarsats. Mahamati Prananath says, Daya dana seva te sarve hange kije to sarve go. Your charity, your donations will always be sacred, because it is a way that you are offering your gratitude to Lord Supreme for providing you an opportunity to serve. You are not serving anyone, you are getting a chance to feel satisfied. You are expressing your gratitude. What more do you need? Why do you care for your name? The world is never yours regardless. People would be always critical of you regardless of how nice things you do to the world. Like I've already said again and again, it is the world where Mahatma Gandhi was killed who always preached nonviolence. It is the world who criticized Florence Nightingale who stayed up all night taking care of wounded armies. It is a place where Gautam Buddha was criticized, ridiculed and mocked. It is a place where Mahamati Prananath was chased away from many places. It is a place where Lord Sri Krishna was criticized. Everyone in this world has gone through such episodes in their lives. Then why care for the name and fame while you offer your service? Here, everyone serves the other. Everyone serves Raji. Everyone gives donation to temples and churches with such expectations. When service is done with such expectations, it loses all of its value and glory. Dear Sundarsaji, It so happens that we serve Raji Maharaj only when we run into the troubles of our life, trouble in this world. We sing His glory only when we need His grace to get the desired outcome. We sing Meher Sagar. In the chapters of Viraha, we sing Viraha's Prakarans only when we are in desperate need of His help. There is no integrity, there is no selflessness, there is no truthfulness and honesty in our service. We do not pray to Raji Maharaj to have His manifestation in our lives, but we do it because we want some things from Him. We want His blessings. We all know, and we should not be reminded, that no one has ever left this world fully content, irrespective of how much he or she possessed or made in this world. We all want the worldly glory. We do not want the presence of Raji Maharaj in our lives. That is the reason why we are always upset, filled with rage and disappointments. The Sundarsats, the awakened souls, should be different, should have been different Sundarsats. Always humble, always meek, selfless, and engaged in the contemplation of Sri Raji Maharaj. Smile, help those in need, help those with any expectation for reciprocity. Detached from the world, unaffected by the criticisms, unaffected by the appreciation. But this is the world created by Maya, the delusional power of God. As such, it comes in between Raji Maharaj and us and allows us, forces us to act in such a way that is unworthy of Sri Raji's consorts. Mahamati Prananaji thus says in Lal Das's Beetak, Oina aghaya ina indame chachoda tatha. Now it makes sense for the ordinary jivas to not serve without any expectations. But the awakened souls, us, Sundarsats, what they are doing in the name of service. Dear Sundarsaji, sorry to use this word, but it is disgraceful. Only when our name is called upon, only when we are called to serve, only when people clap their hands, only when people sing our names and glorify us, that is when we offer our service to Sri Raji. Are we offering our service to Raji, or are we offering the service to the world that is never ours? Mahamati Prananaji addresses the Sundarsats and states, Bahar dekhave bandagi andar kare kukaram kama Mahamata puche Brahma srishti ko tu Vaikuntha jasi ki dham. What Mahamati says is outwardly, you offer your service to Sri Raji Maharaj. You show to the world as if you are the truest devotee of Sri Raji Maharaj, yet deep inside you have ulterior motives. Mahamati asked such souls, where would you end up? Would you end up in Vaikuntha, the place of Lord Vishnu, or would you end up in Paramdham because you are not worthy of Raji's grace? So it is very unlikely that you would make it there. And you do not worship Lord Vishnu, so the door of Vaikuntha would be closed for you as well. So where would you end up? Here's Sundarsaji. The Ashtaprahar Seva of Prananaji by these 5,000 or more Sundarsaji reminds us how we should serve our beloved Sri Raji Maharaj, how we should serve other Sundar Sats, and how we should serve humanity in general. So we will look thoroughly, analyze, delve deeper, and try to emulate the service of those moments in Sri Padmavati Parinam. And I hope that you are all with me on this. As of now, I have miserably failed in serving Raji Maharaj wholeheartedly and serving Sundar Sats wholeheartedly. And such is the state of many Sundar Sats that I've met so far in my life. There are only very few that I genuinely feel are graced by Sri Raji Maharaj. There are only few, when I meet them, I feel as if they are the consorts of Sri Raji Maharaj, due to their selfless service, due to the smile in their faces, due to the fact that they never criticize anyone in their lives, and remain detached, unaffected from the world. I've met very, very few of those. That is why the number of Sundar Sats in Paramdham, the number of Brahma Srishtis in Paramdham is stated to be 12,000. It is not 12 million, 120 million, or higher number for that matter. Because the grace of Raji Maharaj is not easy for everyone to attain. Because for a lot of the people in the world, including Sundar Sats, all we care about is our name and glory in this world. There are very few who would pick up so-called lowly service jobs. For example, Chintamani. He was a leader of Kabir Panth, Kabir tradition. He had more than 500 disciples. When he was awakened, what service did he ask for? He asked Prananath to give the hardest, the toughest, the service that no one would voluntarily take up. That was to deliver mails. It would take days for him to reach Nautanpuri from where Prananath is, delivering letters from one place to the other. And Mahamati Prananath sings the glory of that Sundar Sat Chintamani. Samaldasi, who gave the name Samaldasi. We really need to take a moment or two to reflect on what needs to be changed, what we are missing from our side in our attempt to God realization, in our attempt to awaken our souls, having Raji manifest himself in our lives. Because for many, Raji is so far away. We have never felt the grace of Sri Raji Maharaj in our lives. We have never met him. We have never seen him. Dear Sundar Sats, we go on pilgrimage, meet saints and acharyas of our faith. The question is, do we not see Raji residing in the next door Sundar Sat? Why do we only see Raji Maharaj in the soul of any other saint or acharya for that matter? Why do not we see the consort, the spirit of consort residing in the next door Sundar Sat? Are we not all the consorts of Sri Raji Maharaj? What is the distinction there in Paramdham between, let's say, Asavai or Navarangabai? What is the distinction between Sakundal and Sakumar Saki in Paramdham? There is none. We are all the consorts. It is only when we have this cosmopolitan feeling and that we treat each Sundar Sat as the consort of the Lord. It is only then that every meeting with Sundar Sat becomes blissful. the gathering of any number of Sundar Sat becomes a meeting of Mul Milama. It becomes Paramdham in this world. And dear Sundar Satji, is not that what Raji Maharaj wants for us? Raji Maharaj does not talk about awakening ourselves in Mul Milava after we die. No. What he says is the glory of Paramdham is to be realized here and here alone, in this world, right when we are alive. So Mahamati says, Itahi baithe gara jagiye dham purana manurata vekam. Staying in this world, we need to awaken our soul. Staying here in this world, we should visualize Sri Raji Maharaj. Raji Maharaj should manifest himself in our lives. Was not that why Mahamati Prananath did what he did from 1700 to 1703? He offered everything. He gave away everything that he had to Satguru Maharaj, the jewelry and everything. He exclusively offered his prayers and services to Raji Maharaj. He stopped meeting his friends. He stopped talking about anything else but Paramdham and the Leelas of Sri Raji Maharaj in Paramdham. Dear Sundar Satji, when we understand the true value of service, when we truly realize the glory of a consort, of a pure soul, of a Brahma Srishti, and begin to live as such, life becomes much more easier. It becomes a lot better, a lot more convenient, a lot more blissful. Because when we serve someone without expectations, then it gives us a sense of gratification. It is fulfilling to be able to serve someone. It is only when we expect something back that is a path to suffering and disappointments. So what Raji Maharaj, what Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what Prananath says in Tartam is serve Raji Maharaj without any expectations. Do not do Meher Sagar because you need his grace. Do Meher Sagar because you are constantly remembering Sri Raji Maharaj and his mercy and grace. People reach out to God, people chant the name of God when they are desperate. Dukha mein sumirana sab kare, sukha mein kare na ko. Sukha mein sumirana kare to dukha kaun ko hoye, say the saints of the past. People always reach out to God when they are desperate, when they need help. And at the times of happiness, at the times when they have everything at their disposal, they do not remember God. If they would do that at the times that they do not need God, when they voluntarily serve God, then why would they go through such stages, such episodes of difficult situations? They would not. Similarly, Sundar Satji, what these 5,000 Sundar Satji, how this Sundar Satji serve Prananath reminds us of how we should serve Sri Raji Maharaj, Sundar Sats, and humanity in general. See God residing in every living soul. See Raji Maharaj in the hearts of every Sundar Sat, not only in the acharyas or the Gadipati of any Pranami temple. See that in every living Sundar Sat nearby you. And the next door neighbor, next door Sundar Sat. See Raji Maharaj residing there. When you do that and serve them wholeheartedly without any expectations, then Mahamati Prananath's promise is fulfilled as he states in Prakashindi, Tuma prema sevaye paoge paar. Ye vachana dhani ke kahe nirdar. It is certain, it is absolutely certain. It is the word of Sri Raji Maharaj that with the service of Sundar Sats and unconditional love to Sri Raji Maharaj, one attains salvation. Dear Sundar Satji, from tomorrow we would look into the Ashtaprahar Seva of Prananaji by Sundar Sats. Ashtaprahar, like I already said, 24 hours divided into 8 3-hour increments. Starting from 6 to 9 a.m., that's the first prahar. So there are 8 prahars, 8 times 3 hours, so 24 hours. How Sundar Sats serve, who engages in the service of Prananaji, and how we should serve our spiritual masters, those awakening our souls, Sundar Sats, the eternal friend of ours and humanity, that is so fulfilling to serve. We'll be learning all those things, and I hope that when we go through these episodes of service by Sundar Sats, we get something and we change our lives accordingly, because like it or not, we are lagging so far behind in our service to Raji Maharaj. And this part, we are failing miserably, all of us. I see, like I said, I see only few pure souls who serve others without any expectations. There are only few, very, very few Sundar Satji who are ready to take up the lowly service. There is no one willing to clean the bathroom in the temple. There is no one willing to take care of shoes and slippers that come by in the temple. There are very few who would take care of temple, clean the temple, wash the dishes. Many of the others would be ready to take up a mic and speak, glorify themselves and their names and how much they have done for the welfare, for the betterment of the temple. Everybody would like to do that because it is the easier one, and everyone glorifies such efforts. But those cleaning the bathrooms, those taking care of the dishes, those taking care of those slippers and sandals lying around are the ones receiving the most grace from Sri Raji Maharaj. So I hope that with the discourse today, we understood some of the values, the significance, the implication of service. With that, I conclude my remarks.